Hello again. Hello, hello, YouTube and Facebook. Suddenly get a nose itch as soon as I go live. It's always nice. What holds you back? This is a common question we ask in NLP, especially when I'm coaching people. They say, well, I want to do this, or I can't do that, this and that, this and that. And I say, okay, well, what stops you? And usually what follows is that moment of like, I've never been asked that before. So what stops you? Think about the things that you want to do. What stops you? The the more honest you are when it comes to answering this question, the better. Before I get into more um, inspirational quotes and things like that, uh, as most of you know, if you follow my videos and you follow my blog and everything, I have something called Life Mastery Gym, which is something brand spanking new. It's a ongoing membership training that you get a lesson every single month. You get a hypnotic induction that goes with it. You get group coaching. I've never done anything like this before. And it starts January 1st, but enrollment for this ends Friday, this Friday. And I'm offering a very special offer that basically locks in your pricing for life at a very low rate if you get in before Friday. Actually, if you're the first 100 people. If you're one of the first 100 people, this gets locked in for life. So I know a lot of you are going to sign up. A lot of you already have. A lot of you are going to sign up, but you're going to wait till the last minute. And what always happens is I get people who waited a little bit too long, and then they're coming in and saying it's after the fact, and they say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I missed the date," and they usually have a very legitimate sounding excuse, and they ask to get in. So why? What's stopping you from signing up now and not having to worry about that? I'll get to you people later. Some of you are hesitating. You want to join. You don't really, but you're hesitating. There's something holding you back. So think about what stops you. If this is about creating the life that you desire, that getting guidance on creating a vision for your life and having step-by-step guidance on how to do that. And basically the idea behind this is not to teach you NLP. I've got courses for that. The idea is to implement NLP, to apply it immediately to get immediate results. Have a vision and a plan that you're getting results from, and doing it, and really figuring out, well, what is the life that you want to live? What's going to make you feel successful? Not compared to anybody else, but you being successful, you getting the life that is you're going to enjoy and feel happy and fulfilled living. And this stuff really excites me, and hopefully it excites you. That's why you're watching. So if I would actually, I'm posing that question to you: what stops you? What stops you from signing up for this program if you haven't already? If you're watching, you've signed up. Of course, good for you for taking initiative and doing it. And then for the people who are hesitating, or not, they're not hesitating. They know they're going to sign up. They're just going to wait till the last minute. Here's a great opportunity to break that pattern of waiting to the last minute. When you think about things that you have to do in life, what I am always challenging myself to do is to do it immediately. And this just frees up so much of my time, and I get on top of things. For example, paying bills. I used to be the kind of person who would wait to the last minute to pay bills. I would kind of have it in my head, okay, I know this bill's due later, 2 weeks from now or something like that. So I'm just going to put it off. And this would create stress and anxiety in me. And I think in a weird way, I was kind of addicted to that feeling because we are drama seeking organisms. We look for drama. We like drama. That's why we go to the movies. That's why we have Netflix. That's why we watch soap operas or whatever dramas on television. And But that's not the kind of drama that you want in your life. You don't want to be manufacturing drama. There's going to be enough drama in your life already, especially if you're pursuing your dreams, your goals. You're going to have twists and turns that would probably give you great material to write a good screenplay. So it's when you're getting out there and really living your life and pursuing your goals, pursuing your dreams, you're gonna you're gonna be involved in serious drama. And I think for a lot of us though, we want safe drama. We want to go on a roller coaster knowing that there's nothing, nothing bad can happen to us. We want to watch an action movie where we can sort of live through the main character and get excited about the ups and downs, but knowing that we're in no real harm or danger. But when it comes to our lives and putting ourselves out there, whether that's in a social setting where we fear embarrassment, or it's starting a new venture, a new project that might cost us money, then we start to get a little too nervous about that. That's a little too close to home. So we hesitate and we say, okay, well, I don't know if I want to do that. I want to do that. It's scary and it's exciting. And this feels like this is my purpose and my calling, but I'm not ready to risk that. And for those of you who have gotten out there and done that, you start to realize, especially if after you've had many failures in your life or things just didn't work out like you thought they would, and then you've had successes as well. What you start to realize is it's actually really hard to mess up your life. I mean, and I mean to unintentionally mess up your life. Like you can do it, you can intentionally mess up your life. Of course you could. But when it comes to putting yourself out there in the pursuit of your dreams and your goals, you can make a lot of mistakes and bounce right back from them. Really, you could. Don't just take my word for it. Tim Ferriss, if you don't know what Tim Ferriss is, the 4 Hour Work Week guy, says the same thing. And I remember reading that in the 4 Hour Work Week and thinking, yeah, he's right. Of all the things that I've done and what I would call mistakes or failures, none of them have really held me back very much for very long. The temporary setbacks, but nothing major, nothing like I couldn't bounce back from. And that's most people. We're so fearful of trying something, and think about all the mistakes or things that have not worked out well for you. Are they still affecting you? Most likely, they're not. When I was getting ready to come online here, one of the things that popped into my head just so randomly, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this while I'm live, and it's totally gonna date me. It's totally going to expose my age, which I always do anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care about people knowing how old I am. I've actually been asked that one time when I was live. I just so happened to be with someone though who was much younger while we were live, so that might have been why they asked. The contrast was striking. Anyway, there's this movie called Point Break. And it's with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, a much younger Keanu Reeves. And unfortunately, Patrick Swayze passed away, I think, of pancreatic cancer. But so Keanu Reeves plays this FBI agent who is a bit of a thrill seeker, but he doesn't quite know it yet. This is something that surfing brings out in him because him and Gary Busey believe that the bank robberies that keep happening in the area somewhere in Los Angeles are due to surfers, a gang of surfers. And so Keanu Reeves goes undercover as a surfer and he learns how to surf. And of course it changes his life. And, this is the real story behind the story. And he's got this great name. His name is Johnny Utah. Like if that isn't a 90s action hero, a 90s action hero name, I don't know what is. Johnny Utah. And so there's a lot of cheesiness in the movie, but there's also some great scenes. There's some great surfing scenes if you like surfing, which I do. I used to surf. I haven't really been surfing lately, but great surfing scenes, lots of action, lots of ups and downs and drama. And Patrick Swayze is like the ringleader of the bank robbers, but he's also this sort of deep Buddhist surfer. and he's got all these great insights. And it's almost like, and this is the great thing about it, the character they build for him, because he's not just like a bad guy. He's a bad guy, but he's got a lot of depth to him. And he says all these insightful things. And he says this to Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves' character. And it's something I've carried with me ever since I've seen that movie. It was just great. The saying's great. And that is hesitation. Oh, wait. Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true. Let that sink in. It's a really good saying, and it can be applied to a lot of things. Now, when I watched that movie, they were about to go skydiving, so it kind of stayed in the compartment of this movie and the skydiving thing. But you can really apply that to anything. And if you think about it, what are we hesitating to do in life that we really want to do? That feels like it's more our purpose, our passion, um, our path in life, but we hesitate in taking that path because we're afraid. We're afraid of something. We're afraid of, we might not even know what we're afraid of, but ultimately we're afraid of ruining our lives. In some cases, maybe what feels like death, even though it's not. I think, well, they say that public speaking is more people fear that than dying itself. And I think that embarrassment, the fear of embarrassment of putting yourself out there and totally failing can feel like a death, or it feels more real than death, because for a lot of us, death isn't real. We push it off. We pretend like it's, oh yeah, it's going to happen. I know it will happen someday, but we keep putting it off like it's never going to happen. One of my first NLP videos on NLP Gym was I said stop elving, and like almost nobody saw this video because it was one of my first ones. And what I meant by that is I knew a guy who was telling me about how he met his girlfriend, and he's like into these fantasy balls, and she was into these fantasy balls, and they met at a fantasy ball. And he, he walked up to her. This is how we met her. He walked up to her and he said, and they're all dressed up. I don't forget what he told me he was dressed up in. And he says, "Don't you effing hate elves?" And she looked at him like, "What?" What a way to start a conversation. And she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she says, "Well, they're immortal. They have no call to action. They have no urgency to do anything." I just thought that was hilarious. And I'm not into fantasy that much, or elves, but I think a lot of us live that way. We live thinking that we have a unlimited amount of time. That not nobody truly believes, unless you're crazy. Nobody truly believes that you're immortal, but are you living that way? How long have you been hesitating to follow your dreams, to do what you're passionate about, to take that first step onto that path that has not been cleared for you, that's uniquely your own? Have you dared to do that, or are you still hesitating? And I can say honestly for myself, I've spent sometimes years hesitating to do something that I know deep down inside I really want to do. And on the other hand, I have chased a lot of dreams that crumbled under reality. But overall, the pursuit, it's not so much achieving these things that you're after, it's who you become in the pursuit of the things that you desire, your dreams. It's almost as if your unconscious throws these little inspirations your way, throws these little things out there your way to so that your conscious mind will move in that direction. And then when you move in that direction, and maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Either way, you realize there's more. And that empowers you, that makes you stronger. The failures make you stronger, the successes motivate you. And you can't have one without the other. You need them both. You need the motivation. And as you pursue your path, you need to get stronger too. There's no way you can continue to have success after success without getting stronger, and failure will make you stronger. And they're just two parts of the same process. But again, it's more about who you become in that pursuit. And your desire is that inspiration. That desire is that's the direction. That's what's telling you what the direction is to take. Oh wow. We have somebody who's cursing up a storm on here. All right. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'll look at some of these questions here. And if you have any questions, I'll hang out for a while and answer them. Just want to mention again, if you're interested in Life Mastery Gym, the new program that I'm opening, and again, it will close on Friday. Will I reopen enrollment for this membership? Of course I will. I won't be doing that again until next year, though. And then next year, the pricing will go up, and you won't be able to lock in the pricing. The pricing can go up year after year. Right now, if you get in by Friday, you will lock in that pricing for life, low monthly amount, or you can pay 6 months or a year. It will never go up from there, and you will accumulate a lesson every single month, as well as the hypnotic induction, group coaching calls, Facebook support page, and then 10% off on any trainings that I do, including coaching. And you will lock that in for life, and you get all that stuff. It's not like it pops up in the platform and then it goes away. You 10 years from now, you could go back and revisit the first year, so you get all of that material. All right, so somebody's asking me if I play guitar. No, I do not. Did I ever fight really hard to get a skill and kept fighting? Yes, I did. NLP skills were definitely something I worked at for a very long time. And right now, well, yoga, I've done yoga for 10 years. I've cut back a bit because I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and now I'm working on those skills, which I feel like I'm fighting literally to acquire. And writing, communication of all sorts, I feel like there's no end to improving that. So yes, I've been working at those skills. What do I mean by what holds you back? So this was earlier on. I hope I explained that. What holds you back? Well, I don't know what holds you back. You want to do something, you want something, but you hesitate. What's holding you back? That's the question. Somebody says, I feel obsessed by the desires of getting skills and really frustrates me since it's never enough. I know the feeling. Definitely know the feeling. So, one thing you want to start from, though, is that you are enough. It may not, if you're feeling like you're in a situation where it's never enough, it's probably from a feeling of you not being enough. And so know that you are enough. In any situation, you are enough. You might have inadequate skill or knowledge, but you can always learn those things. You can always acquire skill, and you can always acquire knowledge. It the problem with a lot of us do, and I did this for a long time, is I made it about my self-worth, and those feelings of inadequacy were uh, haunted me for the longest time and held me back. And that was a major breakthrough for me, is when I finally overcame my self-worth issues. That I kept involving my self-worth in what people said, or outside circumstances that I couldn't control, or times where I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. I often took that on as something that my self-worth was not enough. Always know that you're enough. In fact, I say I come down hard on affirmations. A lot of people who promote affirmations, and it's not that all of them are bad, but most of the time affirmations create a bigger problem than what it's solving. But one affirmation that won't cause a problem for you is the affirmation that I'm enough. There's very little that your unconscious can argue with you on that one. All right, let's see. Same guy. Okay, he got a little rude. So yeah, I'm answering your questions now. Um, Let's see. Don't know why you have 5 viewers. Oh, okay, you were being rude, but oh wow, you really got into this, huh? Okay, well, now after reading what you said, almost wish I hadn't answered your questions. Let's see, they'll do the same. They talk, talk, talk. All right. Somebody now they're arguing. That's just so interesting. All right, let's see if I can find more questions. Uh, okay, Juan 2003 GTR. Dude, you need to go start your own channel. You said you bought one of my programs. I don't think you did. My real name. Somebody's asking me what my real name is. My real name is Damon. Uh, okay. Trying to find. Oh, it's great, Juan, that you can bench press 290 pounds. Happy for you. Um, yeah, I believe you feel hurt by all the things that you're saying. I agree. All right. So let's see. I think we have a question here. When you were with Dr. Matt, what did you find the most interesting in his tone, posture, voice, movement, words? Ooh. So I see you've been watching some of my older videos. What did I find most interesting? I think what I found most interesting in Dr. Matt. So this or he or she, I can't tell by your name, is referring to a video I did with Matt Gryziak, or Mateusz Gryziak. He's Polish, and he's quite a talented person. What did I find? I think what I found most interesting about him is how intentional he is about everything that he does. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. So I don't have more to say about that. Let's see. What is your view of the power of Tad James timeline therapy? I found it to be one of the most powerful techniques for deep lasting change. Yeah, well, timeline. I can't say I know timeline therapy, which is copyrighted or maybe even trademarked. I don't know. Basically, this is my understanding of it. Don't quote me on this. I don't know the exact history, but from what I've heard from the people from who were around the early days of NLP, timeline was something that came out. It was coded with by using NLP, and then Tad James came around and said, "Well, I'm copywriting it." And so I don't know that to be 100% true. So I don't want to get in any legal trouble here. Um, but yes, timeline is extremely powerful. It's taught in NLP, but I think the actual like timeline therapy, as he's copyrighted it or trademarked, um, is there's more to it that he put into it. So timeline is just one aspect of NLP, but yes, extraordinarily powerful because we code time in a certain way, and it's the way that we think of time, especially our past. If you want to heal things in the past, that can then open up the future for you, and then it also has to do with how you feel in the present. There's so much you can do with timeline. So yeah, I agree with you. I have not studied under Tad James, by the way, so I'm not pretending to know all that he teaches. Uh, dude. now, now he's apologizing. All right, dude, just take it easy. Um, all right. Apology accepted. Um, let's see. Also, why aren't deeper level NLP techniques such as parts integration and belief change more heavily advertised, as I have found these to be the true source of deep change with anchoring? Um, I can't really answer to why they're not advertised more. I mean, they're always in a practitioner training in general. They're staples of practitioner training, parts integration, that sort of thing. Um, you can, well, you can take it a lot deeper too with Steve Andreas' self concept model. I don't really do the old school parts integration anymore. I find it too crude and haphazard and doesn't often work a lot of the times. It probably works like 50% of the time. I think it's a good starting point to learn that first process, because then you can learn deeper processes and more technical processes that work much better. So, I mean, as far as the advertising, I really can't answer that, but they're usually taught in every single practitioner training. And if you really want to take that deeper, y- there's the book Transforming Yourself that Steve Andreas wrote, which I turned into an online training called by the same name, Transforming Yourself, with his blessing before he passed away. Um, so if you really want to take that to the next level, learn Steve Andreas' self-concept model. All right, state change, et cetera, supplement the change in real life. Okay, I'm not sure what how that goes on, but in general, I mean, what it sounds like you're saying is that NLP is transformative and amazing, and there's extraordinary tools in NLP, and I 100% agree with you. That's why I've created what I've created with NLP Gem. So 100% agree. Let's see, is there something else similar to NLP that could help someone in something? That's really vague, so I don't quite know how to answer that. I don't know. NLP is NLP. And I don't. You'd have to tell me what you want help in for me to understand that. All right, so we're back with Juan. He's saying, I'm speaking about really important issue. Channels that deals with interpersonal skills should really be more sensitive about their viewers. You need to admit that most of the guys out don't care about their viewers. No, I don't. I can't speak to that either. I care about my viewers. I care about the people who subscribe to my list and that I write to a few times a week. I can't tell you if other YouTubers and Facebookers out there who put material out there, whether or not they care about their viewers. I can only speak for myself. Let's see. I think parts integration goes beyond just a specific change desired. It is partly about the attitude that the person develops towards all their parts. I absolutely agree with that. When you start to understand parts, when you start to use that concept that, okay, part of me wants one thing, but there's another part of me that wants something else. Usually one of those parts is unconscious. And so it can feel like you're having inner conflict, or you're being pulled apart, or you become really indecisive. And this can be cause suffering for sure. When you understand this and then you're able to integrate this, you become a more whole human being. And when you become more whole in that sense, you feel more fulfilled. And if so, of course, yes, this will affect your attitude. It will affect your overall well-being and happiness. Um, Most of the parts integration, though, that's taught out there, though, is, like I said, rather crude. So you can become much better at it and make sure that it's going to work by using, like I mentioned, the self-concept model. How to be regular with everything and decrease overthinking. Guys, these questions are kind of vague. You have to be a little more specific. How to be regular with everything and decrease overthinking. Okay. I mean, I'm assuming you just mean like be more routine. Um, think about brushing your teeth. You do it at least once a day, probably twice a day. How did that happen? Map that across. Let's see. And integration, regardless of the outcome, is one of the keys in being happy, in my experience. I agree. Always move toward integration. I get people all the time who come to me and say, "I just want to get rid of this part of me. It's getting in my way, or it's stopping me from doing what I want to do." And it's like, well, that kind of attitude about part of you is not helping you. You need to take a different attitude of your parts. There are parts of you that all parts of you are serving the same purpose, you. So uh, everything should be moving toward more and more integration. And I've actually used this in my life for my business, my relationships, personal or professional. That ultimately, what I'm trying to do, and I may not fully succeed at it, which is not really the point, but is integrating my life, integrating all the context of my life. I don't like having my different parts of my life separated. I like traveling while working and working while traveling. If you've seen some of my videos, every time I travel, which I love doing, I'm always making videos. I'm always working because I love what I do. So I don't try to split these things apart. I want them all working together. Let's see. Is influence and manipulation a part of NLP, and how do you feel about it? I've actually done videos on how to manipulate people, which I think I pissed off. Um, I pissed off everyone almost. I think because I pissed off the people who were actually looking to seriously manipulate other people, like try to control them, because that's not. I explain it differently than that. I don't believe in any way hurting other people, of course. And then I pissed off the people who didn't really watch the videos and just saw the title and said, "Oh, this guy must be terrible." And so I got a lot of negative comments on both sides for that. That's a it's a big subject that you're bringing up, and so the way that I would explain it is you cannot not influence other people. It's going to happen anyway. So you might as well have more awareness about it, so that you can do it really well, but also so that you don't hurt people, so that you can get what you want while not hurting other people. And I think that's really important to influence. So if you think about like someone, a scam artist, they're not building a long-term business. They may be really good at building rapport and trust with people, but as soon as they scam them, they have to get out of town. So they're not building anything long term. But if you want to build something long term, you want to influence people, you want to get people to trust you, and you want to continue that trust and grow with that trust. It's like building a business or building a network or building relationships and making them stronger and stronger. So you're building trust, you're building rapport, you're doing it on purpose. You're very aware about what you're doing. I think a lot of people think that's what manipulation is. We're like, oh, if he knows what he's doing, then it's manipulation. No, it's not. I mean, if you want to call it manipulation, okay, call it manipulation. But you're being very aware and conscious about and purposeful about what you're doing, and that's a good thing because when you're doing that, you also are more hyper aware of, well, how am I getting what I want, and am I getting what I want and hurting someone else, and how do I get what I want and help other people at the same time? That's the ultimate goal. And so NLP has a bad reputation for being manipulative, and there's a lot of people who learn it to do that. But here's the analogy that I make. Um, Martial arts is taught to anyone who wants to learn it, any type of martial arts. And we don't say, well, you shouldn't teach that because some people are going to misuse it. We say, well, no, it's better that we teach people how to defend themselves, and it's better that people are able to learn martial arts for exercise, for spiritual growth. There's all these benefits to it. So we're not going to ban teaching martial arts just because of a small minority of people are going to misuse it and go beat up people who are weaker than them. And so the same thing is for NLP when it comes to persuasion and influence. Like we should teach this because it makes us better communicators, and it also helps you to protect yourself from manipulative people who are looking to exploit you and hurt you for their gain. And also, just learning persuasion and influence just makes you a better communicator, and great communication is a common denominator among all successful people. If you have there's one thing that connects all successful people, and that's success by any way that you want to define it. It's communication, good communication. All right, let's see. Hello, I have very bad nightmares every single night and have had this since I was little. I'm 26 now and want to know why my brain won't chill out when I'm sleeping. Wow, you guys are asking some heavy questions. I would have to, we'd have to sit down and talk it out. I mean, I don't have a quick um, answer for you on that. Um, it could have been trauma that you had early in life. It could be a lot of things. What you can do though is acknowledge that your unconscious is trying to tell you something, and um, instead of fearing the nightmare, turn it around and become receptive to the message that your unconscious is wanting to deliver to you. So we say in NLP, all behavior originates from a positive intent, and we include this. Um, we can include this in also our parts. So somebody was asking about parts. We can include this in our parts. Like there are parts of us that want different things, and sometimes it feels like we have a conflict. But know that each part of you has a positive intent, is operating and functioning from a positive intent, even if the behavior that comes out is negative or destructive. Go back to the source, to the origin, and you will find a positive intent. So think of your nightmares as, at their core, have a positive intent. It's your unconscious trying to tell you something. And the more you resist it, the more it's going to persist. So open yourself to that message. It's trying to help you in some way. That's the best that I can give you without knowing your situation. Cruz says, great stuff. Hey, Cruz. Sent you an email. um, Hope to hear from you soon. Okay, thank you. That is help. Okay, good. And again, a big thanks. Lots of respect from. Oh, Belgium. Very cool. Love it when people are here from other countries. It makes me feel like that's the next best thing from traveling. Okay, I think I'm going to sign off. I've been on. This always blows my mind how quickly time passes when I go live. I think I just really enjoy going live. So anyway, if you're interested in the Life Mastery Gym, which is a membership program to take charge of your life and really create a vision for your life and fulfill that vision, and I guide you through that step by step. And it's really about taking that next step to investing in yourself. And for the very small amount that it costs to join this membership, um, you know, how can you not afford to do this? And as for the small amount of time it will take to work toward your own improvement and create the life that you want, day by day, step by step, how can you not afford this is what I would say about this. And if it's not my program, carve out some money every month to invest in your own development, regardless if you take my program. Carve out time every single week to work on yourself and work on your dreams, even if you don't buy any of my programs. Do this for yourself. You're absolutely worth it, and don't sell yourself short. Stop investing your time and money and making other people's dreams come true, and overlooking your own. It's good to help other people. I'm not saying don't do that, um, but make sure you're doing it for yourself. Don't overlook yourself. Let's see. Somebody says I'm ESL bilingual. Grew up in Germany. First 20 years of my life. Next 20 in USA. Someone mentioned to me in order to root fundamental issues to go back to my mother tongue. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on that? Yeah, a lot of times when I'm coaching people and they're from a different country, or their first language is something different than English. I and they're struggling with articulating something or coming up with an idea. I will tell them to speak it in their native tongue, and then we'll translate it later. So yeah, I think there's a lot to that. And the words are more than just a language. They are anchors. They are representations of something, of meanings that affect us in our physiology and in our sensory experience. So words matter. Words are important, and yeah, I think a lot of times it's good to do that. In fact, I've heard of people taking a problem that they're thinking about in one language, and say they speak multiple languages, and articulating that problem in different languages. And sometimes different languages are better uh, for creating solutions for that problem. And then once you have the solution, then you translate it back into the language that the problem started in. So yeah, that's great. I wish I was bilingual. I'm still in my list of things to do is to learn another language. Okay, thank you everyone for hanging out with me. This was a lot of fun, and check out the program. And if you have any questions, of course, I'm all over the place. Oh, thank you. Somebody put a big heart, says keep doing what you do. I appreciate that. So you know how to find me. Leave a comment, shoot me an email, whatever it is. And I hope to see you in the program. Let's make 2019 the best year of your life. Take care, everybody.